Hey there, Cage for Prepper Madness. We have the coffee cup. We may proceed. So I'm going to do a video on prepper vehicles. And one of the things that a lot of people believe is that a prepper vehicle, if you have to bug out, if you have to get out of the city, you need one of two things. You need something that is inconspicuous or something that can go through anything. Well, whoops. Oh, inconspicuous daily driver, go through anything. Inconspicuous daily driver, go through anything. Another daily driver, another go through anything. You get the idea. So, yeah, there's lots of choices for prepper vehicles, and a lot of people are just using their vehicle, their daily driver, and they're just loading what they can get and going. They've got a place to go to, or they have things there already, so they don't have to carry a lot. They just got to get moving. Other people aren't going to have a choice, and they're just going to have to get out of Dodge. So I bought Hercules for loading all my stuff and getting going. The place where I was at, I was in a metropolis, and I had a lot of gear that I was collecting and building up ever since my house fire, and I lost everything in 2010, and I was starting over, and I was trying to be close to work and different things like this. So my living situation was what it was, and I needed something that could carry a lot of things, and this fit the bill. And I had a lot of other choices for vehicles that I could have got, and it could have been inconspicuous. I saw this and I had to have it. And I got a tow bar on the Jeep, and I can hook up behind and off we go. So now that I'm no longer in a situation where we need to bug out, and it always was the case that I could still use this for a variety of different things if I needed a truck for something. So it never really was a true bug out vehicle. It was like a lot of people, just like my Jeep was. My Jeep's my daily driver, and I carried stuff around in it, and I could haul a lot of stuff with it, and I could pull a trailer. Same with Hercules. Carries a lot of stuff, and actually it's on propane. It's a 460 with propane. It gets over 14 miles to the gallon. I mean, this thing's crazy on fuel for what it is. And that's loaded down. That's 14 miles to the gallon loaded right down. It's about 15 and a half or 16 just empty. That's great. So I knew with the two 300-gallon tanks on it, I can get a long ways with the propane and not have to stop. Carry a lot of things. It's not EMP proof, but I do have the module. It has electronic ignition. It's a 79. They have electronic ignition. A spare battery in a module. And so you can, if that was to happen, you could still, get going. There's people that have, minivans, just a small car, a regular pickup, these kind of things. A Suburban is popular, Jeeps are popular, and they have them set up with their gear in them, and they're ready to go. And there's an example of some preppers who were living south of Calgary in High River a few years ago when the floods happened, and he was out of the country working, and she was at home, and the Jeep was parked in the backyard. And basically it went something like this. She texted him, and he was down in the States working. He got the text. The RCMP have been by the house and they said, wait for further instructions, basically. A few minutes later, he got a text. The RCMP said, be ready at any minute. Not shortly thereafter, it was, you need to move. The next text was something about there's water up to the stairs on the house. You can't see the street or the neighbors' homes anymore, and I have to leave. The last text during the bug out, I've got in the Jeep, I've driven over the fence in the backyard, and I'm going up the hill through the bush to get away. Luckily, they had the Jeep. The Jeep was loaded with a bunch of prepper gear. They had a plan. It was in the backyard, not in the front yard. And she was at home and able to get in it and go. And luckily she had it and she could get going. So, you know, that's one example of a shit hits the fan, and floods are SHTF. Big fires like the Fort McMurray, the Slave Lake fire, you know, they take out towns. Kelowna in 2003, massive section of the city, you know, wiped out. These are bug out situations. Now you might be bugging out to another town or to a rescue area or to a friend's house or family or something, but you're still bugging out. And if you can be ready to go, and go.
It can happen to anyone at any time, just like it happened to me. Here's my story.
In 2010, when I had my house fire, luckily, I was home that night. I was a truck driver, and I was on a schedule. I did a circuit, and it just so happened that where I was living, I was able once, maybe twice a week, to stop in, stay overnight in my own bed, you know, have a shower, do some laundry, that kind of thing. So I was home that night. Just luck of the draw. Woke up in the middle of the night, whoop, house on fire. I got very little out. Very, very little. I was able to get out myself. I got smashed up doing it. The roof was already creaking and cracking and things falling in, doors jammed. You know, I got injured and lost just about everything. I lost 4 years worth of preps. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. So the whole idea behind Herc and the Jeep and a trailer that I had was, well, Herc's over there, Jeep's over there, trailer's over there. Not everything's in one building. So I can load up Herc, load up the Jeep, load up the trailer, hook the trailer up behind the Jeep, hook the Jeep up behind Herc, and go. Because in Alberta, it's legal to B-train. You can run two things. You see people with, you know, a large vehicle and a holiday trailer and a boat, for instance, or a trailer with quads. That's legal in Alberta. That's not legal in most places. So the plan was, that's what I was going to do, and then head to the bug out location 5.5 hours away. Yeah, bypassing 2 major cities, bypassing 6 towns, 14 bridges to cross. Wow. Okay, so here's an enclosed trailer that carries a lot of stuff and can be pulled with a half-ton pickup, or depending on how heavy it is, maybe something smaller, but usually something larger. Weighed right down with a lot of prepper gear and different things. You know what? You probably want a 3/4 ton or bigger. The good old horse trailer, again, heavy unit, but it can haul a lot. And then there's the tow behind. Okay, the tow behind, that's a 20 or 22 footer. Again, A half ton will do it, but it's not recommended. You really need 3/4 ton or larger. And then of course the big fifth wheel, that's a 28 footer. And you need a fifth wheel hitch, and you need a 3/4 ton or larger. And something that size really should be a 1 ton or bigger. So there's a lot of people that these are their options. These are what they have, you know. And so, well, that's what they have to bug out with. That's what they have to plan for. That's what they have to work with, and that's what they use. So I first started buying Jeep Cherokee XJs when I started prepping. When I really woke up and figured out, okay, you know, I'm going to become a prepper. Survivalist at that time was my thought process, but the prepper word really wasn't out yet. Preparing was preparation. The word prepper I don't think came into my vocabulary anyways for a few years. But I chose the Jeep Cherokee XJ. Well, it's a good vehicle. I always wanted one. Lots of friends over the years have had them. I've had other four-wheel drives, and I wanted something that was economical, lots of parts available, reliable, and powerful, good four-wheel drive, could carry a lot, and still a good daily driver, a good regular vehicle. And so this is what I chose. This is my third one.
So there's part 1. We're going to do part 2. And remember, whatever you have, whatever you can make work for you, that's the right choice for you. So, if you liked the video, please subscribe. Please leave any comments, questions, or concerns down below. And Cage for Prepper Madness. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.